And if you are in the area, make sure you pop down and say good day. We would love to see you here this morning.
He's going to be performing for us shortly. Listen, I've got a ton of entertainment news. Vic Actor is going to be joining us a little later in the show, performing live for us with his drummer Kenny Dale Johnson. Chris has got a new album live in Australia out, and he's touring next year as well. And we're delighted to have him with us. Our special guest here on Cup Day in Melbourne. Chris Isaak coming up. Great's a man who always whips up a crowd wherever he goes, and he is about to tour Australia next year. He's got a brand new album out, creatively titled Live in Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Mr. Chris Isaak. It's lovely to have you back in the country, mate. How you doing?
Doing great. Good to be back.
Yeah. This album, Live in Australia, is the one you recorded when you were here touring last year, yeah?
We were here last year. I never did a live album before, and we wanted to do one with a kind of a crazy audience, and I said, Australia is perfect, and I can prove it. If you listen to that record, I told you, in about, I think about track 8 or something like it starts, there's a woman who came to the show, and she'd probably got in a good mood before the show. How do you put it? She was totaled. And so we're playing, and she's in the front of the crowd. She had a good seat, and she was screaming the whole show. Well, we recorded that show, and they said, do you want to cut her out? I said, no, leave her in. So when you hear it, you'll hear me singing to her, and we actually made up some songs to her while we were on stage, so it's a little strange.
Well, we know why we like you so much. I'm wondering why you like Australia so much, because how many trips have you made down here now?
Your complexion, your beautiful eyes. Oh, you mean all Australia?
Yes, it's working
We're seated down here. No, you got to get
There
up.
you go, here.
I don't have any problems with
Remember
that
Tracy Grimshaw had a similar experience.
No, now he's running away from me now. Oh, okay, no, fair enough.
Right
now we're
here.
going back the other way.
Oh, here we go.
I said we're just...
There we go.
See?
Oh,
This is wonderful.
now I'm going to tell you what I want for Christmas.
I love this show.
I've had a flashback. Have you, Dickie?
You get your own girl. I think we can go to break right now.
I think this is good for me.
Yeah, he gets his ladies the old-fashioned way.
Yeah,
he
no,
grabs them on national
Go ahead.
television.
Any serious question you want to ask me, you just go ahead, Richard. You just drone on.
Well, interestingly, Chris has got his own television show in the States now, interviewing people yourself. Keep your mind on the job. How's that going for you?
Keep my mind on the job. You know what I found is when people are asking you questions, it's easy because you don't have to know anything. But when you have to ask the question, all of a sudden you're on the spot. Your side is a lot harder than my side usually.
Well, what's it like turning interviewer?
We had Glenn Campbell on the show. Glenn Campbell he's played on everybody's record that you ever heard. Strangers in the Night, that's Glenn Campbell on the record. Everybody loves somebody sometime. That's Glenn Campbell on that record. Good Vibrations, the Beach Boys, is Glenn Campbell. So he comes on the show, and they said, oh, you should read up on Glenn Campbell. I go, it's like an encyclopedia to read up for him.
Yeah.
The good part was, I know a lot of the music I know all his music, so we had a common ground to talk about.
Rhinestone Cowboy, he's a gem, is Glenn Campbell, isn't he?
He actually played Rhinestone Cowboy, and it was like, everybody, all my musicians are looking, we're all looking like kids in a candy shop.
So you interview
like
these
you
people
right now.
I feel stupid asking a question, because you didn't bring the tea mints this morning,
No,
did you?
well, at least when I normally, yeah.
I'm just a bit up close and personal, not to have got some chewing gum or some mints or
You're light as a feather.
You are a smooth talker, aren't you? You haven't changed a little
Bit
bit.
of Marvin Gaye for you. Can you hear that, Chris?
No, don't do that.
Back that feeling for so long. And if
A fine woman like you,
Yeah.
you ought to be with a man who respects and loves you.
And you're suggesting
I'm just looking for...
Yeah, there is a real
Oh,
He's
look at
about
the size of that.
6'8" too. He's a former rugby player. He's about 6'8".
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he's a rugby player?
He was, yeah.
I was just kidding. Here,
Do you want me to get
maybe that's your seat right there. I don't know what I was thinking.
In fact, here he comes walking down the road right now. He got that
those
early morning
footsteps
flight
you
from
can
Sydney.
Excuse me,
No. I know, you didn't mean it.
just joking around.
One of the reasons Chris loves Australia so much is you love to surf here, right?
Every time I come, my friends in the States go, I said, I'm going to Australia. And they think that it's like a vacation. And they go, okay, when you go, you go to Manly, and then you go to Bondi, and you go to this corner, and I go, I'm actually going to do some work over there. I'm singing too, but I always get a chance to get in the water a little bit.
Yeah.
And you do work here too. Last time you were here, Richard took us to one of your concerts, and it was absolutely unbelievable. And all your costumes, you are such a showman. You really do enjoy it, and the crowd just gets into it. And they're as relaxed with you as you are with them.
You know, if you have a lot of talent, you can just come out. I saw Roy Orbison play years ago, and he came out on stage and just stood there and just sang the songs. He never really talked to the audience or anything. And I was friends with him, and he said, if you watch my black and white special, he goes, the only things I say, and he was very proud of this, he goes, the only thing I ever said was, hello, thank you, and good night. Well, me, I don't have that kind of talent. So I come out, I've got a mirrored suit. We talk to the audience.
You had your own black and white special, and that was when we first fell in love with you. That great film clip with Wicked Game with Helena Christensen.
Yeah.
That's still one of the greats.
I'm glad that you remember that I was in it, because
In fact, you know what? We're going to go to a break. We should get you to play a bit of that song. Kenny Dale, come up here. And I should remind you while we're doing that,
We'll switch around now.
Chris has a new album called Chris Isaak Live in Australia, which Chris Isaak recorded here in Australia, funnily enough. It's quite uncanny that. And also, Chris is going to be touring Australia next year in March, and those tickets go on sale on November the 14th. So, new album, a new tour, lots to talk about. Would you sing a bit of that song?
I'll dedicate this to you and your rugby player friend.
Oh,
Did you get shorter? The world was on fire, no one could save me but you. Strange what desire will make foolish lovers do. Ready, Kenny? You bet. I never dreamed that I'd meet somebody like you and your rugby player. No, I don't want to fall in love. No, I don't want to fall in love with you. 6'8".
Tonight.